Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat Conversations, and I'm your boy AG, aka the Boxing Guru, and I'm joined with my man DB. What's going on with it, baby?
Shit, what's going on with your AG?
Nah, shit. What's up with Power Slap? Cause like that shit had me on my heels when. Oh, I forget his name, man. He was going at it with. First off, why they letting? To me,
Slap Jesus.
What, oh, buddy, here's how it took off. Obviously Dana White's promoting and stuff. But my thing is you see nobody with the swollen face. Okay, that went viral. Like what? Like at what point? Like, okay, to me, you have to take shit like that into account with a respective sport. And let's just say boxing. If a dude's face was swole like that, they'd be looking at it for a stoppage or something like that. When you in a sport where every single hit is direct contact to the face, just like that, you've gotta that to me that warrants a stoppage. Power slap is I don't want to say where it's at by any means, but I see some people on Twitter talking about they can't get down with it.
No, not at all. I mean, you even got doctors coming out talking about how real severe, how real bad.
I can't imagine the trauma on that. I mean, the long-term trauma. I mean, we enjoy boxing and MMA so much that it's like
it's gonna be within a year, and you're gonna get people getting CTE.
Oh man, CTE at unprecedented young ages. That's gonna be ridiculous.
With each slap, CTE, dementia.
Alzheimer's. I mean, it's just coming. It's all coming. So, but Dana White, if he could get, I mean, there's gonna be people interested. There will be.
Oh, okay? Absolutely.
But my thing is it gonna gain enough popularity to stay afloat long enough on these TBS contracts and stuff like that, or is it gonna be kind of dumbed down to just like a UFC Fight Pass type of thing?
I don't know. I mean, it is America, so
covered with it. But power slap aside, Dana White's delivering on the UFC. And I guess since the biggest news, at least to me for real, is the return of Jon Jones. A lot of shit we gonna get to in boxing. But Jon Jones coming back right now has gotta be a staple in the combat conversations right now. It's just sticking out like a sore thumb.
I think you owe John some apologies. You always on the podcast talking about he ain't never fighting, he ain't never coming back out, he ain't never doing this, he ain't never doing that.
Look, the fight ain't here yet, even though I do firmly believe it's happening. I mean, of course I gave John like you did, like everybody did. The man's like we do in boxing with the inactivity. Come on, man. And a lot of it for Jon Jones is self-inflicted.
No, that is true. A lot of the stuff he does, it is self-inflicted, but, shout out to him. I know he's been in contract disputes with the UFC, and from what I heard, not only is he the highest paid heavyweight in the promotion's history, but he's supposedly the second highest paid behind Conor McGregor.
That's saying a lot.
And with fighter pay being a big issue, especially in the UFC, I mean, that's a pretty big win for fighters. So
I do believe so.
But yeah,
got to celebrate the return of of Jon Jones. What type of win is this going to be for him? Is this if he actually where do I think we talked about it. We touched base on it a little bit. If, say, Jon Jones, first off, what do you expect from Jon Jones in his return? And then B, if he was to beat Gane, where does this win rank on Jon Jones' resume?
So how he's going to look, I'm not expecting the old Jon Jones because, we say it all the time. I know we joke about it, but even then, I mean, this year, Tom Brady finally looking like he took a big blow to Father Time, but Father Time waits for no man, and he's a little bit older. No, he hasn't fought yet, so obviously he's not taking any big serious damage or anything, but in his last two performances against Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos, dude, he arguably lost both fights. Now, he says it's because he was unmotivated, he was done with light heavyweight, blah, 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 blah. No different than any other excuse than what boxers make all the time and all that bullshit. But, and it could be. It could be. But since people like to use that combat sports math that never fucking works, people are always talking about, well, Ciryl Gane, he got taken down by Francis, who had 2 bad knees, blah, 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 blah. Okay, if we're using past fights as a measuring stick, Jon Jones has not looked like Jon Jones.
There ain't really other measuring sticks to use. I mean, I'd say
Exactly.
of all the measuring sticks, I think past performances is the biggest measuring stick of them all.
So you got 2 not so impressive wins, and that close fight with Dominic Reyes, that's not aging good. That is not
aging like fine wine, like Canelo's Canelo's resume is aging like fine wine.
Hey, Liam Smith.
Shout out Liam Smith.
Liam Smith.
Don't shout out Eubank.
But I mean, that win is not aging pretty good. And we've always talked about it. You know, what a fighter does after a loss matters.
Big time.
But back to what I was saying. I mean, you add those 2 not so impressive wins, and then you add it to the long layoff. And again, we know he's in the gym with Henry Cejudo, and we know he's somewhat staying in shape. But again, a lot of self-inflicting actions that have prevented him to still compete. We know he likes to party. We know he...
Yeah, but obviously there's a lot of people in the game who like to get their boogie on, who can still consistently fight.
And plus, at light heavyweight, Jon still took damage. He still took some big hits. You're going to heavyweight. That's a different animal. I know it sounds cliche, but literally one punch changes everything. Those hits are harder. The damage is going to be big. Like, I don't think people understand that.
So expecting maybe a little bit of rust is what now here's the thing. Do they call it rust? Because obviously, rust don't really turn back to beautiful looking metal, so rust kind of stays. It's, but anyway, if he was to beat Gane, like where does this rank on his resume? Because Gane put up a good fight. Got to backpedal a little bit. We was high on Gane. You was high on Gane. I really...
No, it was a competitive fight.
I really looked at him like as a complete MMA fighter.
And like I told you, the first 2 rounds, my prediction was coming to fruition because he was beating Francis on the feet. Dude, he moves like a middleweight. I don't want to say he's like Tyson Fury, but he is in that manner where he's a big guy, 240 pounds, 250 pounds, but can move like a middleweight or a welterweight. I mean, yeah, he was on the feet. He was selecting the shots. Francis could not cut the cage off whatsoever. He was dancing around him. I mean, it was a good competitive fight. And then Francis decides to turn into Khabib and wrestle his way to a win. I mean,
a little less impressive than Khabib, but point well taken. But Gane coming back nicely against an old shoey.
mm-hmm.
So that confidence went up a little bit. Maybe, focusing, working on some things that maybe he felt he lacked that. And, but obviously you're looking at 2, in this case, three totally different fighters, from Francis to Shoey to Jon Jones.
Yeah, obviously. But and I believe, we see it all the time in combat sports, MMA or boxing. We see fighters improve. Sometimes it's immediately the next fight. Sometimes it's like progression. It's over a course of fights. But I do think Gane took a lot from that loss to Ngannou. He didn't really get a chance to display that against Taito Avesa because, come on, let's face it, Taito Avesa ain't gonna grapple with you. No. He's like, I'm either gonna knock you out, you're either gonna knock me out. We're gonna go on each other's highlight reel.
That's all he's looking for. He ain't trying to get on that ground and wrestle.
So he didn't really get a chance to display that, but I think we'll see it in the fight with Jon Jones. And based off a little bit of bias, I'm taking Jon Jones for the win. I think it's going to be a split decision, majority decision, one of those kind of fights. But I do think Gane's going to make him work. I do think you will see drastic improvement in his takedown defense from the time he fought Francis to the time he fights Jon Jones.
Yeah, I can see that because now, arguably you're looking at Jon Jones, who more athletic inside the ring than, say, a Francis, so it's those movements will be key. They'll be important for him to be able to escape those takedowns if need be and stuff like that. So, Gane would be a very good win for him, I really do believe that. Gane ain't no scrub. We think highly of him. We know he has a complete game, but we also know what Jon Jones can deliver. So it's kind of tough either way. Winner's going to look really, really good and loser's not going to look so good in their own fashion. So,
right.
That we just got to celebrate no matter who, no matter how it goes down, how it looks, fucking Jon Jones is back, baby.
Jon Jones is back.
Jon Jones is back. Bones Jones. Shout out. But 2 weeks from now, got another motherfucking banger. My man Volkanovski and Islam.
Hey, real quick, I'm telling you, y'all think we're bullshitting. Dana White is listening to Combat Conversations.
No doubt. I mean, we've the whole time, ear to the streets, telling them, putting it out there, speaking it into fruition, like you said. But we got another one, pound for pound. Is Volk top pound for pound for you on UFC's list?
Oh yeah,
definitely. I haven't checked in a while, but
he's number one.
Okay, so you got number one pound for pound trying to be a simultaneous two division champ, going up against Islam, who just took out
pound for pound.
Who's what?
Islam is number 2 pound for pound.
They got him ranked number 2.
Number 2.
They shot his ass up there already. Oh my goodness! Now he probably deserves to be there. Yeah, like we talked about that Sandor wrestling. I don't even know
that Dagestan and wrestling.
That's
Rush, whatever they're doing there.
Shit.
It's taking over combat sports. Because before Khabib retired, he was coaching not just fighters in the UFC, but he also has I think it's Usman Nurmagomedov, who's the lightweight champ over there in Bellator. I think that's his cousin or something. But I mean, Dagestani, they got fighters everywhere, and it's being proven because you got these wrestlers, these fighters coming from this camp, and they're all winning world titles in different organizations.
The whole team's taking over different promotions.
Yeah.
Islam has got a chokehold right now on UFC, moving in the direction he's been going. But my man Volk is a monster.
Oh yeah,
legit.
Absolutely.
Like this right here is a clash that I don't want to say that it's being underappreciated, but I really do feel like this is a fight that it's not necessarily. We are 2 weeks away, and I haven't, Jon Jones is coming back. That's obviously going to take over anybody's news,
right.
Kind of trump that. Got Street Jesus back recently. We got Pereira rematch,
right.
We was going to end on that, but I feel like this Volk Islam fight is could easily be a candidate for fight of the year.
Easily.
And it'll be February.
I do think a little bit more promotion could be added to it. I do agree with you. I don't think it's gotten the hype that it deserves. It has been underappreciated, but don't worry about it. In 2 weeks, they're going to remind the world. They're going to remind the world.
They will. That night's going to be an epic night because the fan base there will realize it. Like I said, the sense of urgency.
And it's in Volk's backyard in Perth.
Yeah. Islam. Oh, boy. You want to talk about, like...
Bro, that's he's going to...
Yeah. Going to the number one pound for pound's backyard.
Going to his backyard.
Yeah. Got to respect Islam for that. So, my man Sweet Dreams is legit too, bro.
He is.
Shout out to my man Jamel Hill.
And shout out to Glover.
Yeah, again,
bro, shout out to Glover.
Yeah, when he set them gloves down, yeah, I was
disappointed because like the fans, man, like he deserved to retire in front of a full
that was
crowd.
A little
like that shit
crowd
cleared
was
out.
A little bit disrespectful on that, you know what I mean? The way they treated my man Moreno after he beat Figgy.
Bro, he didn't just beat Figgy. Spanked it, Figgy.
Yeah, he did.
I almost said Izzy.
I think he got the best of that quadrilogy.
He did. Because you got to think about it. Moreno, he's got 2 decisive wins. over Figgy. In the first fight he won, he got him by a rear naked choke.
Now, first fight was the draw.
I meant his first win.
Oh, yeah. But like you said, even
first
if you
fight was a draw.
A draw that basically could have went either way.
Right.
Okay,
right.
so you got to talk. You got to draw.
Right. Of course. You know, I'm talking about the first fight that he won.
No, I'm saying I know
fight.
where you're going with it.
Okay.
Just I was gonna say like you breaking it down in order. Like, so you got the draw.
Got the
then
draw.
You got the chokehold you talk about.
Chokehold, and then Figgy wins by another close decision that could have went either way. And then this last fight,
yeah, so
Figgy just dominated.
I think he did. He definitely got the bet.
He's just the better fighter.
Yeah, Moreno definitely got the better of the quadrilogy, hands down.
But hey, Figgy's supposedly going up to 135. Could we get him and Pereira?
For starters,
you want to see it?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And then depending on how that goes, it's how soon is the Sugar Show in line for a title shot?
Still gotta wait on that. And then that's another thing. You got Henry Cejudo coming back, supposedly going up against Aljamain Sterling. So that's gonna be another big time fight, another high level grappling.
Yeah, that's gonna be big time. That is gonna be big time. And then, like I touched on a second ago, got confirmation Alex Pereira and Adesanya going back at it.
They're fighting 4 times.
That was
Even though it's a completely
so
different.
was that the third one, the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 2 in kickboxing, and that was the first, and that's third.
Yeah.
Going for that quadrilogy. and I guess you could say Pereira has really owned the trilogy.
Yeah. And I get it. The last 2 fights, because if if you're hardcore Izzy fans, you want to go back to their second fight in kickboxing. Real close, could have went either way. I think they kind of talked about it a little bit in the build up to the first fight in the UFC. First fight in the UFC, Izzy pretty much had it in the bag, and I don't know, maybe he got careless. Maybe Pereira was just too much, when he tries to go toe to toe with them.
He ain't gonna want to do that again.
Oh no, hell no.
He ain't gonna want to do that no more.
I'm gonna pick Izzy. I think he's gonna do it off points. He's not gonna do anything stupid. He's just, I'm gonna outpoint you. I'm gonna do my own version of the sweet science. I'm gonna hit and not get hit, and I feel like that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, he'll have sweet revenge on his mind, and like you said, if it just means beating him and getting that title back, he'll be Floyd Mayweather.
But I mean,
he'll be the last airbender.
But Pereira, he's got power in those hands, man. I mean,
he does. Can't sleep on it. He's gonna get in, and that's kind of how I predicted, like kind of the first fight would kind of feel out. And just like I said, that Izzy did his shiftiness, and Pereira he strikes, he attacks. We already know he's a good striker, but like he can be quick. He can when he's sudden. Like with that flying knee we seen, and when he just pounces on you, he has that, and that has benefited him too.
One thing I think that gets overlooked is like he did a good job staying in front of Izzy the whole fight. Like Izzy, he's trying to dance around the cage, move around, and Pereira, it's like a mirror drill. He's just like right in front of him, no matter where Izzy went.
Yeah.
Kept him in front of him, and like I said, uses combinations. He's got power in both hands, especially in his left. And
yeah, that pouncing that I kind of iterate that he does, like getting that angle, knowing when to strike, where to strike. The man's good at it. I mean, he didn't get that far not actually being able to strike like that. We'll talk about it because we about to get into some boxing. My man Tank Davis. Like we talk about, Tank's not out there like super outboxing guys, but when Tank strikes, Tank is deadly. We already know he's got knockout power, but it's kind of like that overhand left that he was hitting Hector with. It just strikes, snaps. Yeah, it may not come as frequent as we want it to in certain fights against certain fighters, but when it does,
hey, but those hits were adding up, and then when it did, he broke his fucking face.
Yeah. So MMA's doing great right now. UFC coming, a lot of good news. But to slide into that boxing, Tank and Garcia supposedly on the rise. And boxing's got a lot of hot news. So we gonna start it off with supposedly.
Wait, real quick.
What?
Is it just news, or are these fights coming to fruition?
Some of them have confirmed dates. And it ain't Spence and Crawford, so we need to chill on that.
Exactly, that's my point.
We not gonna talk about Spence and Crawford. We ain't gonna waste our time. We talking about fights that's supposed to happen. So we got Tank and Ryan Garcia tentatively April 15th. Yeah, April 15th. So, will that happen?
I don't think so. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to I know we bullshit from time to time on this, but I just know I don't see it happening. I don't.
So who's getting in the way? Oscar's getting in the way, or Uncle Leo can't get in the way no more. Floyd can't get in the way no more.
I think it's like Crawford and Spence.
So
I think they're both being bitches about it.
I mean, in this case, would it be Ryan Garcia? I mean, again, is it Spence or is it Al Heyman? I mean, it's somebody. Is it Bud? Was it Bob Arum? See, and that's where you kind of have that situation now is nobody can blame Bud's team except Bud because he left Bob. Spence, you could blame Spence or Al, PBC, however you want to do it. Tank left Floyd and Uncle Leo, so now you can't blame anybody but Tank. Mm-hmm. But Ryan Garcia, you can blame Oscar.
Still blame Oscar.
So it's kind of like that, but
I think they're all being bitches.
I mean, that's it. But in this case,
they are all being bitches. If they do
fight, if Tank and Garcia do fight, that's a fight that we've you're gonna have to.
I'll eat crow. I will never be more happy in my life to eat crow if Tank and Ryan actually fight
on April 15th.
On April 15th.
All right.
I will eat crow. I'm a man of my word.
Okay.
I'll eat crow.
All right. You may not have to.
I won't. Because I know it's not coming to fruition.
Come on, man. It's got to happen. It's got to date.
You think I'm putting bad juju on boxing? I'm not. I'm just being a realist. It's not going to happen. Juju. Bad juju, bad luck, bullshit,
right?
Retarded shit, whatever you want to call it. It's in this beautiful sport that we love called boxing.
So, Oscar said it's about to happen with these IG posts and stuff like that. So, I mean, you got to take Oscar at his word, right? But real quick, not to get off track too much, if you and Oscar did fight, what round is he knocking you out in?
Bro, me and Oscar, we're going the distance. I am taking him to deep, crocodile-infested waters.
Okay. But about the fight, though. If Tank and Ryan Garcia do fight, what we looking at here? What we looking at? We looking at a good fight? How many of these that we're going to get to here in a second don't live up to the billing?
A lot of them. I've been on record saying that I think that's what's going to happen with Spence and Bud when that fight happens. I know you just said I know you just said we're not going to spend 2 seconds talking about it, but
I mean, they'll come up, but you can't. You help it. You kind of can't.
But it's like they're letting this shit marinate. Like, this shit's overcooked by this point.
It's getting overcooked.
It's getting overcooked. It's burnt. It's gonna taste like utter dog shit. It's gonna be built up. It's not gonna have obviously the hype that Manny and Floyd had, but it's gonna be built up. It's gonna be looked at as this mega super fight. And then by the time that we get to see the product, it's not going to match the hype.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Tank and Ryan Garcia don't go that route. I'm hoping April 15th actually happens.
I do too.
We all do.
And I think it's a close competitive fight. I got Tank winning, but I'm not going to be surprised if Ryan scores the upset.
Yeah, no, not at all. I do kind of same for me. Tank seems to be more calculated. Ryan he's got the hand speed. If he could be consistent, can't hit what you can't see, and play that game, he could be effective. I know some out there who actually firmly believe Ryan Garcia can beat Tank Davis. Like, and stand on it, stand by it. But I'm not one of them. And even then, you know, standing behind Tank is... I do stand behind Tank a whole lot more just because of what I said. His striking skills, the way he'll pounce on you. Tank knows how to finish a fight when he smells blood and can get you out of there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
100%.
Ryan Garcia disappointed me against Emmanuel Tegu that he came back against.
Yeah.
Like, who's fighting very soon, but he should have. It might not. I think it might even have been somebody else, the other guy. But the thing is like, you know.
No, I think
that's the thing. He fought who he's fighting, and B, how he's looking. He didn't get him out of there.
No, I think you might be wrong there. In his previous fight, I think he looked good, but it was like his first fight back. He disappointed.
After the injury, yeah. Because remember he hurt his hand and everything. So I mean, you give him that, okay, you know. But needless to say, even him, he said he's going in. He didn't need no tune-up like Tank. Tank needed a little tune-up versus Hector.
We'll see.
But knock that boy's side out his face.
Say a prayer. Hopefully April 15th comes to fruition.
Man. I mean, we thought we had November 19th in the bag, too. So this shit, the fucking rug could be yanked out from underneath us at any moment.
I'm saying it will.
Dead ass.
And I'll be right. Man, I hate being right all the time.
Oh,
AG.
do you?
I hate being right all the time.
I mean, I'll tell you what. You know,
it's no fun anymore.
It's a dirty business, bro.
It's not fun
anymore. It's a dirty
anymore.
business, Paulie. So, what other big news we got out there? What's another big fight you looking forward to?
Caleb Plant, David
Benevidez, March 25th. Got a date.
Ooh.
Got a date. Uh-oh. Hey, these bitches know what's up.
Hey, like we said earlier, Canelo's win, I think it's going to be aging mighty fine.
You think so?
I do.
I might have to. I'm going in a different direction with you then, dog.
Do. I think if Caleb, because again, like what we talked about earlier with Ngannou and Francis, I think Caleb Plant took a lot. Obviously, when you're fighting number one pound for pound in the world,
Touche.
I think those 11 rounds that he was in, that's going to play a huge factor. And I believe if Caleb Plant can stay away from those bombs that we know Benevidez has, I think he can put the sweet science on David.
I think he can too. Okay. But with a big B, capital B, I think you're going to get a similar Caleb Plant type of fight.
Methodically breaks him down.
Yeah, because here's what I'm saying. Caleb Plant to me is going to do a little bit more, you know, sweet science maneuverability, because he's going to respect David Benevidez's power much more than he respected Darrell's. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, look, ESPN's talking to me now. He's letting me know. Caleb Plant is going to kind of bring that same approach. Play pity pat. Not so sure he's going to really hurt Benevidez, break him down. When Plant knocked out Darrell, beautiful undershot, bam, one-hitter quitter. Didn't break it down. It wasn't like he had him wobbled against the rope, smelled blood, killed him. You see what I'm saying? It was basically one-hitter quitter. Put that shovel in him. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say it was a one-hitter quitter, because remember, he hit him with a nice body shot to set up that right.
Good setup, but I give you that. But if you know what I'm saying, it wasn't, you know, the type where one hit maybe staggered him, or you got 2 or 3 good hits and then you pounced on him a little bit to break him down. I think that body shot he did set up the one-hitter quitter. So don't get me wrong, the body shot was beautiful. I guarantee you it inflicted some pain. But to me, it was a setup for him to have that wide open one-hitter quitter that he just buried his ass with. Don't think he's going to hit that on Benevidez. What I do believe is that he'll play pity-pat, box around him, try to get a little sweet science going, and David Benevidez is going to walk him down, break him down, just like Canelo did. And I'm predicting a David Benevidez stoppage round 9, round 10, round 11. I might take that to the BetMGM, Caesar Sportsbook, FanDuel, DraftKings book. I mean, I might have to. Might have to flip that, make a little money off of that.
That very well could happen. But I do believe in Caleb. I do think he took a lot from that fight with Canelo, and like I said, I think he's going to stay away. He's not going to allow David to walk him down. He's not going to allow him to get trapped in the corners. He's going to be moving pretty good. He's going to be giving that sweet science on him. And
I do feel like Caleb Plant's time in the ring with Canelo is ridiculously beneficial.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of like just learning. It was a schooling. Not saying that Canelo really schooled him, if you know what I mean. We do believe that Caleb kind of boxed, you know, he boxes nice. He's good. We give Canelo credit for winning that, and then when he comes back looking good, it's you kind of get that appreciation for the resume like we talking about. But being in that ring with Caleb Plant being in that ring with Canelo was a lesson, and I really think he's going to take from it. That's the biggest leap I give him. If he's going to get Benevidez, it'll be because of that. I will give a lot of credit for him beating Benevidez to him being in the ring with Canelo. I will. That'll be just me. I won't down Benevidez, be like, oh, he wasn't what I thought he was. I'm just going to have to give Caleb Plant his due, depending on how he performs.
Right.
Now, if he sleeps Benevidez like fucking Darrell, then I'll eat crow, because I'm telling you, I don't believe that's going to happen.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to simply outpoint Benevidez, and I think he'll come away with maybe a majority decision, a split decision, something like that.
That'll have to be the type of fight he probably wins. You're right.
Because he's not going to have too many punches where it's going to make you think, oh, David's in trouble.
Yeah, probably not really.
It's not going to have any real damage because, again, you go back to the Canelo fight. He was boxing Canelo pretty good, but his punches were doing next to no damages. Like you said, it was like that pity pat. But I do think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I do think he can stay away from those big hits that Benevidez can deliver, and I think he'll outpoint him. But again, it's
a big one coming up.
You could be right. It could be similar to what happened with Canelo when he methodically breaks him down over 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 rounds, and then puts him down in the.
Yeah, I think he's gonna put him down in the latter. What they call that, the latter quarter of the fight. Because when they break it down with them 1 to 3s, and sometimes you get good odds on those. You get good odds on those 3-round knockout predictions. Because sometimes you get astronomical odds on picking exactly what round, but you and I know it's fucking difficult to pick exactly what round you think a guy's gonna get knocked out in. Yeah. So let's talk about what's coming up tomorrow. Beterbiev in Yard. I got Beterbiev getting him out. I want to say round 7, round 8. I say round 4. I said, got that BetMGM FanDuel Draft Board Caesars books bet on him. So Beterbiev better bring it home for me.
I think it'll be under 5.
Under 5. That's gonna be a tough one. Yard ain't no slouch.
I'm not saying he's a slouch.
No, but Beterbiev's 38. Is he gonna look old at some point? Father Time waits for no man.
True.
I get it don't happen overnight, but at the same time, he also isn't fighting back-to-back nights.
No.
So is the decline really starting on Beterbiev? Or is he honestly as good as ever? Because it's always a what have you done for me lately? And lately, he's still knocking motherfuckers out like he did not so lately.
No, I still think he looks good. I think he's currently in his prime. Yes, he's 38, but you got to think he's also started boxing late. He only has 18 professional bouts. It's not like Canelo where he's got like over 50-something fights.
60.
And he's 30, he's 32, but he's like 100 in boxing years because of all the wars and damages that he's accumulated over the course of his career.
Good point.
So, yes, like we alluded to earlier, we know Father Time waits for no man. But again, like what we also talked about earlier, you're as good as what your last fights. What have you done for me lately? And in his last fight against, what was it, Joe Smith Jr.? I mean, he wasn't just headhunting in there. He showed some improvements. He was being a tactician, selecting the shots. Like, he was showing mad improvements in his game.
Benevidez is coming off injury too. Keep that in mind. You know, I don't want to put any blame in the reason why he might lose the fight, because it ain't gonna be a reason why he loses the fight, but potentially knockout power comes into play with that, with broken hands and stuff. You know, so that'll play a big part in it. But either way, I got Benevidez by knockout, by a nice, pretty looking knockout. Number 19 is gonna look pretty.
I do too. And hopefully we can get that undisputed fight at 175 with my man Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah, you see Bob not too long ago talking about that'll probably happen in 24 if it happens. I mean, we're in January 23. We don't want to hear shit about 24. Definitely not right now.
Does that confirm that Bivol is trying to get that second fight with Canelo?
Correct me if I'm wrong. No clause or something in there. Does Canelo get a rematch or something, or is it just voluntary that both of them have agreed to actually fight a second time?
Because I mean, you know, like you said, we're in January. We're not supposed to be hearing about 2024 until next fucking January,
right?
But it's like, if you're gonna put that fight off. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Bivol may have another mandatory later on in the year.
I don't think so. No,
you don't think so? Was it Zerto that was his?
Yeah, that was his mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna put that fight off, you know, to the next year, the only other big fight that makes sense is that rematch with Canelo, and there's been a lot of talk of it being at 168 for Canelo's undisputed titles.
To me, that 7 pounds, that ain't making no difference to me. As far as my opinion on who I think is going to win the fight, I really don't believe that that's going to make a difference, because I don't know what Canelo's going to put in there with some rehydration clause, if he even is. I mean, if he weighs in 168 the day before, what's he going to come in fight night? 172 anyway? 174?
Is that a bitch move? Rehydration clause?
Yeah, kind of. Not if both of y'all abide by it, I guess not. You know what I mean? What's fair is fair, but if you're going to tell him that he can only gain so much, but I can gain a little bit more, maybe that'd be a bitch move. But if it's going to be equal on, I believe it. What's fair is fair. And it's, hey, sometimes I get a little frustrated at how much these guys are thinking they can lose anyway. You know, like, you know, Conor Ben. You get some Conor Ben eggs. You know, it was like, it's crazy for him to fight at 147. Now he's over here walking around at 165. So the Spence can't make the weight no more. Going up to 154, fight Keith Thurman. Bro. Damn, we said we wasn't going to mention him. We had. Don't even get started. So, Beterbiev by knockout once again. Devin Haney. Lomachenko. ESPN delivering yet again. Top rank.
Hey, shout out to Devin Haney. I mean, he's one of the few that's out here actually putting that work in and actually wants all the smoke.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we shouted out George Kambosos for giving Haney that fight because he was involuntary. He said he wanted to fight Loma, couldn't. Give me the next best. Bam, Devin Haney. You know, gotta respect him for that. So now, I don't know. I think it's one of those where, like, you know, now does Devin Haney have a mandatory? If not, it's kind of like, give me the best. And I'm pretty sure that's the situation that's happening. And you got to give Devin Haney all the credit for not going that Tank route.
Well, I think
Tank's been supposed to fight Loma for like 6 years, bro. I get it. Tank was young at one point, but like, okay, 6 years. What happened the last 3?
He didn't really mention him until after his performance against Ortiz.
It was, you know, Uncle Leo was preventing that. We know that.
I don't know, man. That's what, again, I'm hoping April 15th comes to fruition because
oh, me too.
Bro, Tank is almost 30 years old and he's not. I mean, yeah, you got Leo Santa Cruz on there, but it's like, bro, we want to see you with Devin Haney. We want to see you with Lomachenko. Yep. We want to see you with Shakur Stevenson. Like, fuck.
Right. You know who else? You know who else out there, man? Gotta give mad credit. Cuz if Cuz makes this move, he wants all the smoke. And I gotta give that man his credit. and that's my man Stephen Fulton. If he goes to Japan to fight the monster in Japan for that, I shout out Stephen Fulton for that. That's wanting to smoke.
That's
going
like
to, yeah.
That's like Rocky going to Drago.
Yeah, straight up.
That's what that's like.
Yeah. The only thing I'm gonna be mad about is that the motherfucking fight's gonna be at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Bro, okay, so like in the two fights,
so we really
hold up real quick.
I'm not mad at it.
So like the last couple fights, obviously, have been in Japan. I'm 1-for-1. Like I saw him go up against Donier, this where he like absolutely destroyed him in the second fight. I got my ass up at 5:30 in the morning for that. Bro, I fucking wasn't even close to making that undisputed fight in Japan. I don't like him fighting in Japan.
The against Butler?
Yeah,
that was yeah. Well,
I mean,
like
I knew
said, we got
win,
up for the Donier because we thought it might have been like the first one, and the first one was a fucking war. But he obviously dismantles him on the second one. And then against Butler, it's like we almost knew it. And if you watched that, well, like I said, me neither. We didn't catch that shit at 6:30 in the morning, not against Butler. But that man played with his fucking food.
He did.
That boy thought he was Roy Jones in there, boy, ducking him.
Bro,
and
we've credited
shit out of him.
And we've credited in the past Inoue for not playing with his food. And I'm like, bro, come the fuck on.
Right.
Quit playing with this dude. Fucking put him away so we you
so
can
I
go
can move
home
on to the next highlight so we can go on about our business.
No, so I can go back to bed.
Right. Well, I didn't wake up. I didn't see it anyway. So, but that's how I would have been.
Right.
Will you knock this motherfucker out so I can get back and get to my sleep? You know. But if Stephen Fulton goes over there to get that smoke, I got to give my man's full credit.
Mad respect.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even. I'd be neutral on that. I kind of would still favor Inoue because I feel like he is a supreme boxer. He is a vicious power puncher for his size. He's got 18 knockouts in like 21 fights. Stephen Fulton's got 8 knockouts in 21 fights. So clearly we see where the power is.
Yeah.
And I just, aside for continue once again to give him credit for that, I'm gonna be upset that I gotta get up for that shit though.
So let me ask you this real quick. So I read, and again, don't hold me to it, but I read somewhere that Inoue said he's never really sparred with American black fighters. Do you think that that's gonna be a challenge for him? Do you think that's gonna be like a big issue?
Not necessarily per se, if he can actually get somebody who can still mimic the style. That's the thing. He doesn't necessarily have to be sparring a black American fighter.
I mean, as ridiculous and stupid as it sounds, and we've seen it all the time on social media, but there are people out there that they think that's a big deal. Like if you don't spar or fight black American fighters, like we're not. I'm not trying to be like
right.
Like we're not treading in that water, but I'm just like, it's a genuine question. Like I've repeatedly seen it.
Oh, people have put that up as a reason is he's never faced this type of competition. Not even about how good he is. It's just like you said about the style and everything. So, but again, I'm looking at a man who himself has one of the best jabs in boxing. Like we just forgot about that. Like the man got a vicious, powerful jab that will eat your face alive. And then when he smells blood, we know he can attack. But I think he just had too much fun against Butler, being undisputed and shit. And, he just...
Got to put on a show for the home crowd.
He did. He put on a show. And once that fight potentially gets made, we're going to break down predictions. But, like I said, Inoue and Fulton is a huge fight coming up.
One, I can't wait. I'll definitely be getting my ass up in the morning for that.
And I guess that brings us to the GOAT. February 26th, Jake Paul's back, baby. Shout out my man Jake Paul. And on ESPN Plus, like, Cuz said, fuck this, what side of the street y'all on. He said, I run the neighborhood, Cuz. I'm running the neighborhood. He said, DAZN, check. Fought on DAZN, knock motherfuckers out on DAZN. Showtime, check. Knock motherfuckers out on Showtime. Tyson Fury about to get it on ESPN. February 26th, gonna be here. Okay, now let me ask you this. Just like I asked you for Tank and Ryan Garcia. Will this fight happen? Now, this one we got a lot. First off, it's in stone. Whereas April 15th is still tentative. Is Tommy about to fumble the bag again? Fumble. I mean, in this case, we only got a month. The February 26th seems to be legit. Okay, much more legit than April 15th. So I got to give him credit on that. But we've seen this fucking movie before. We've seen it. And the rug could get snatched out right from underneath your ass.
Nah, fuck it. It'll happen.
Yeah, you fuck it. Got to spread a little positivity and joy every once in a while.
It'll happen. I won't be a total party pooper, but it'll happen.
Okay. So, it's going to happen. What's predictions?
I got Jake by UD.
Jake by UD?
Jake by UD.
I mean, who's Fury? Who's Fury? You know, I'm saying Fury like it's Tyson. Who's Tommy Fury going to be sparring? Who's he going to get work in with? Is he going to get work in with Big Bro? Does iron sharpen iron?
Residuals.
Is he going to see the residuals?
I mean, it's a possibility.
Or is Jake Paul development legit?
But I mean, it's like what you've, touched on, way back when we first started this. It's like, or really ever since really Jake started boxing, it's like, what do we consider a real boxer? And it's like, you look at Tommy's resume, and it's really, I mean, yeah, they're by, boxers and who do it for a living, and I guess that's where that respect comes in. So it's a little bit more respectable, not much, but a little bit in that regard. But it's like when you look back and you think about it, it's like the competition Tommy's faced is really no better than what Jake Paul's already faced.
No, I agree, because, you might have guys learning how to box who just ain't good, whereas in this case, Jake Paul's fighting at least, in some case, experienced fighters. The Nate Robinson thing was an experiment, okay? That I give no credit for that. But Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva, 3 old, aged-out MMA fighters. Okay, very bad look. But 3 guys who are proven good combat sports guys. Then you got Tommy Fury fighting guys, like you said, who probably would love to make boxing a living, but let's be honest, some of these guys still had jobs because they can't live off $1,000 paycheck that they got to fight him. Even 10 grand. How far is that going to get them?
Right.
And they not fighting 2-3 times a month. So it's fine line. Like you said, pick your poison. It's really at this point who you just think has been better with the eyes.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say. It's like, we've talked about it time and time again. It's like you're only as good as your last fight. We don't want to use combat sports math, but it's like what they do against said competition matters. Like, do you take the trash out? Do you let this guy hang around a little bit longer than what he needs to, be around? And I just think from the eye test, Jake's been a little bit better, and I think he's going to end up getting the win over Tommy.
Well, we have got a lot to look forward to. And once again, man, it's been great doing another episode with you, bro. Appreciate it, everything. Please like us and follow us on Facebook at Combat Conversations, at Combat Conversations 504, 502. So, once again, we want to thank y'all for listening. I've been your boy AG.
And I'm your boy DB.
Peace.